Well, Paul, it's the transfer window and we got a player through the door this week. Tony Springett came in. How pleased are you to get him through the door and have a fresh face in the squad?
Yeah, really chuffed. I've seen him play live a couple of times. Watched a lot of him. Spoke to Norwich on numerous occasions over the last 3 weeks, trying to help them convince him to choose us. He had a few clubs that he could have gone to, but he suits us for many reasons. Really good kid. Wants to get better, keen to play, trains really hard, top of all the training data, which I like, and just gives us a bit of balance on the left side. So he can play wide of a 3 on the left, he can play wide of a 3 on the right, he can play as a 10, he can play as a midfielder, he can play as a left back. So in fairness, we have a small squad, so anyone who can play more than one position brings a lot to us, but I just think at times, a left footer higher up the pitch gives you a bit more natural balance, and I like our wide players. Obviously we lost Will, so he brings a bit of competition to that. He's been brilliant in training, the lads really like him. I think people have interviewed him so you can hear himself talk, but no, brilliant, really pleased. Yeah, and hopefully he'll be a really good addition with the games coming up, because what I didn't want to do is just get exactly the same player, because in certain games it needs a certain sort of player. And the more different options we can have as a coaching staff, the better. So I think he will play a massive part going forward.
You mentioned that he can play in various positions, pretty much everywhere but in goal. Is that something that you consciously were looking for, or is that just maybe an added bonus that you've got someone that could play in various positions?
Well, it was a bit of luck, really, truth be told. Like, I wanted an attacking wide player, preferably a left one, because Tom, Dobbs and Nat can play down the right quite comfortably, and if the worst comes to the worst, I could probably even play a 90 down there. So it's easy to do it down that side, but actually on the left side in the attacking third, people can play there. I mean, that's Tom's position in fairness, but I just wanted a left footer. So the fact that he played in different positions just made me, I suppose it's a bit like going on a first date with someone, you quite like them, and then the second, third, fourth, you might like fall from big time. The more I got to know what he could do, the better. I saw him play at Sheffield United. I went to the Sheffield United Norwich game this year. I'd like to pretend on a scouting mission. It was purely because I have a link to one of them. So I wanted to see Norwich play. So I went and watched, and he came on in that game, was really good at left back, and I just automatically liked him. So I followed him, watched quite a bit of him, spoke to a few people I know who have seen him play. Spoke to the hierarchy at Norwich, who I trust implicitly, and they thought he was a perfect fit here, and it all added up lovely. So the fact that he can play in loads of positions is just a Brucey bonus. If he could have only played in the left high up the pitch, I'd have still loved to have taken him, but you know, like I said, the ones who can play in more than one position help you out massively.
You've done an interview with Owen earlier in the week that you've seen, and he mentioned that he'd had a chat with yourself on FaceTime, and that convinced him. So how did he pass the Paul Warne character test? Because we know they're pretty stringent.
Yeah, quite hard. Yeah, he passed it with flying colours, really. I was just really honest with him. I asked him what he thought his weakness was, what I could help him with, and that matched up with what I had in my head. So that was good, because if a player says, you know, I think I'm really rubbish at, I think I'm really good at crossing, but I'm not very good at cutting inside, I'd be like, I'm not so sure about your crossing's good. So he, what he thought his weakness was, I thought. I liked his whole desire to play. I liked the fact that I told him straight, and he might have told you this, that, look, by all means, speak to every other manager, get a feel of them. However, if you come here, you're coming to compete. I won't build a team around you. I'm not making you a captain. I'm not guaranteeing you a minute on the pitch. You might play every game. You might play in none. It's your decision. But if you want to challenge yourself, come here, because we're a very good team full of very good players in very good form. But if you want to go for an easier option, then go for one of the other teams who want to sign you. It's fine. And then straight away he was like, no, I want to challenge myself. So I thought, right, good. So I got him on the technicality, really. And then after, I spoke to someone I know who he spoke to, and he was sort of keen on coming because I didn't lie to him, I think. Well, that's what he said. One of my best features was I weren't going to lie to him, which I'm not, because I don't want to tell him I'm going to do this and that, and he comes through the building and he doesn't start for the first 4 games and he cries like a baby in my office telling me why aren't I playing. I told you why. The team are doing really well. You have to. It's not my job to pick you. It's your job to get in the team. So, you know, a fresh piece of paper for Tone. He's trained really well. The lads love him, which always helps if you get on well in the dressing room. And he came across really well. I've done loads of research on him. So, as well as I can, he's, you know, we've ticked all the boxes.
We didn't speak to you after the Cheltenham game last week. You've had a couple of days on now as well. What are your reflections having looked back on it as well?
I always want more, that's the truth. Look, winning football, that's all it's about. So you win a game, you try and learn where you've gone wrong and you move on to the next one. So I think, as I was speaking to you on a Thursday, I don't really want to go over my wounds, but I would just like us to be better. But I'm still proud of the lads for getting a win and digging in. But on another day, a corner could have come in, they could have got a draw at the end, which would have been very harsh for us to take. And it wouldn't have been such a nice journey home. So I just think that, you know, I'm not saying we got away with one. I just thought that our play at times was excellent. And we just need to, you know, take teams to the sword a little bit better.
Quality of goals, though, that afternoon was seriously impressive. Conor Hourihane, well-worked goal. Max Bird, glorious shot from the edge of the box. And Tom Barkhausen's goal, I'm sure you would have loved as well, the way Jason Knight pressed up the pitch and Tom took the ball away really well. So you must be pleased with the quality there.
So you know how bad my memory is, don't you? So I like the
way
you've
that's
taught,
why
I like the way you've taught me through it. So you're like,
oh,
okay, yeah, because I'd be like, hang on a sec, who scored that? Ravanelli got that one. Brilliant goals. And in fairness, what I liked the most the whole afternoon, which did make me smile, is when we equalised, we didn't really celebrate. We just went and got the ball back on the halfway line. That was what pleased me the most. Look, the first goal was excellent because the team press, we knew they were going to press, and the lads had confidence in the ball in their final third, worked an angle, and then Cash hits a sweet ball to Nat, and it's a beautiful delivery, an absolute goal ball. And Connor's where I want him to be, higher up the pitch, getting us goals. So that was good. I loved that goal. Birdie's goal was literally probably one of the best goals I've ever seen live. I said that to him. I embarrassed him in the team meeting saying, you know, but if ever there's a player at this football club who deserves to have their name on a memory like that, is him. I've been encouraging him to shoot for ages because he's got amazing feet. So that was a wonder goal. And you're right, the third one comes from us giving the ball away, but then counter pressing, winning it back. And Tom's finish was a really beautiful finish and a controlled finish. I love players moving the ball and shooting through legs. I know he hasn't intentionally shot through legs, but what I mean is you're not going to get the perfect opportunity. Sometimes you've just got to let your peg go, and we were fortunate it went in that respect. But and that's probably my frustration. We scored 3 wonder goals, but we should have, in the positions of the pitch we had, I think we could have scored more, and it could have been a nicer afternoon. So at 3-1, you know, I have to try and balance the team. You've got to try and win the game, you've got to try and win the next one and the next one, and at the end of April you've got to still have the players fresh. So, you know, then I was thinking, I can take a Connor off because at 3-1 we were in a good position, and you know, after the game, it probably wasn't the best decision. At the moment it was, but so that's my frustration from the game. I just think we should have took more chances.
So let's move on from that. Bolton this weekend at Pride Park, team you played not too long ago. You can have 30-odd thousand there for a top 6 clash. It's got that big game feel, or is it a case of every game that's Derby County has that big game feel about it?
Yeah, for me it does, and I say it to the lads all the time. They're all cup finals. You've got to you know, earn the right to play. But it feels like if it's against a lesser team, we get 28,000, and if it's a top team, it's like 30,000. And to be fair, when you're talking about that many people, they don't feel any different. It's just a lot of people, isn't it? So I won't stand there Saturday and think, there was a couple of seats spare there last week, but this week they've gone. The 30, it's just a phenomenal amount of people who want to turn up and watch our great team play. So for that, I'm grateful. It might have a different feel because, you know, over recent weeks, we've probably had it all our way, really. We've been quite dominant in all our performances, although possibly not on the score lines, but we have on the actual threats and we've caused. But this is a different level, really. We played Bolton not long ago, which is quite unique. You don't normally, like when we done the preview to the game for the lads today in the first meeting, we even showed them clips where, you know, they'll remember not that long ago. So it will have a big game feel, as in, you know, back to we just need to keep winning. That's the truth, whether we can or not, but we just need to keep winning. So it doesn't bother me if it's Ipswich, Bolton, Cheltenham, Cambridge. We'll set out to absolutely go for it from the outset. And look, you know, sooner or later we've got to hit a hurdle, but that's our intention. And we need to go after Bolton, and Bolton will probably come after us. We're two teams that want to go for it. Ironically, when we played each other last time, it was an absolute dour off. So it's like you sort of cancel each other out really, because we've got similar points, similar team of ability. You know, they've brought the new player in, centre forward in, so there's something else possibility to look at. But it was a really close match last time, and it'll probably be a close match this time. So hopefully our home fans can give our lads the extra energy they need to win.
So your answer to my next question was going to be, do you feel it'd be a similar sort of contest in the sense all these games that you've played against the top 6 sides in the league have been reasonably tight? Are you expecting that again?
Yeah, possibly. I'm not wanting it, but I'm possibly expecting it. It's just the fact that I don't think we as a coaching staff and as a group of players, we don't want to play chess. So for those who play chess, I'll just get rid of all the pawns at the front, get rid of them, and let's just go straight into castles and bishops and everything else really. So that's sort of how we play. So look, we'd try and grab the game from the outset. However, Bolton have spent all week doing exactly the same thing, saying, look, these are Derby's threats, this is how Warne likes to play, this is what we've got to try and stop. However, we've got to impose ourselves, and hopefully, and I say this with the utmost respect, the best team wins, and that's what is random about football, that you can be the best team and you can lose. So I think both teams are going to go for it. Both teams are defensively over recent weeks been pretty solid. So it will be a tough game to get a chance, and I just think in the magic moments you just need your best players to stand up. That's the truth. And there might not be many magic moments in the game where you just have to take them, and hopefully Saturday we take ours.